Hello everybody and welcome. This is Alexo and thank you for joining me on May 8th. This is CNP number 4. This is the 4th and final episode of Season 1. And, yeah, this is the beginning sketch right here with them on top of the building. I just kinda, I was setting up, jokes at this point before the credits to kinda just, like, hey, here's these characters, kinda just put them in situations that are sort of random and not very, like, centered or central around the plot, to kind of illustrate the fact that these characters could be in other scenarios, and it just didn't have to, stay in the grounds of particularly, like, and this is the subject, and that is it. And so, oh, this is my favorite part right here. Wow! I remember back in the day when I made that effect right there with the, oh my god, it blew up! That's so amazing. It's so bad. Yeah, so this whole thing was, this episode was really central because, I think this is the first time I ever really tried to, talk about things politically, or anything like that. Not to say that I try to do that crap a lot in my videos or some shit. I mean, just recently I just released that Fix News episode, and so... Oh my god! Fucking strippers! No, but yeah, I released that episode and got some upheaval, but, I just feel like, after being around for so long, I mean, obviously I'm still gonna do, like, high school subjects and crap like that, but, I want to branch out into different things. I want to kind of just, give these characters the full experience of, what the hell would they do in this situation? Like, dude needs a kidney, but the only thing he can get the kidney from is a dog. Write it down. Make it. Like, that's it. Like, it's not about, perhaps if I came up with other ideas, I could central them around each other and make it into something awesome, but,
student body president, like?
And so we got this dumb bitch here.
Why the fuck are you so happy?
Yeah, why the fuck are you so happy?
Student body president, which means I'm going
Sounds
to be the
like
best
just
person
like
in the
me.
entire school, and everybody's gonna vote for me because I'm a popular girl.
I did not bring that up enough. Yeah, at the time, like, the popular girls, I had not gotten the hang of making them sound like girls. It's, oh man, I hate this joke. I hate this fucking joke. And so many people are like, oh, you made that joke, so you must hate... Fuck no! I just made the joke because I was uneducated as fuck at the time. So, that's all I'm going to talk about, because, conspiracies and shit. So, anyway, we've got me talking like the, girl. Not exactly. Yeah, I guess, it was around the time when, like, the, I want to say, like, the cell phones rants. Around that time is really when I started getting the popular girls down to where it was just like, oh my god! Like, yeah, so...
Just like Hillary Clinton.
Sometimes, like, some of my friends will introduce me and they'll be like, oh, you gotta do the popular girl voice. You gotta do the popular girl voice. So it's like, god damn it, like, why do I have to do the popular girl voice? Like, that just makes me look creepy. Like, like, I like to get to know people in terms of, okay, now I will introduce you to the fact that I can do this really crazy voice, but, like, when I'm first just meeting somebody, I mean, if I like met a fan or something, it's a little different, because it's like, oh, you get the references, yeah. But if I'm just meeting somebody and they don't know anything about it, I'm just kind of more of like a, yeah, I'm a person. I just sometimes write crazy shit and put it online, and a lot of people like it, and that's it, so.
And now your president, Coca-Cola.
You know that line he said earlier about Sweden that makes absolutely no sense? I mean, I guess when he says Sweden years ago, it might make sense if you go back, like, years and years, but, jeez, like, I mean, the way he said it made it seem like it was bad, and then it's like, well, it's a lot better than other interpretations, I guess, but...
Everything seems in order, Coke. I especially like the part in here where you're mentioning more funding on the pencils.
Yeah, more funding on the fucking pencils, because interesting enough, when I went through school, it was like... at the end of the year, there were no fucking pencils, man. You'd ask a teacher for a pencil, no fucking pencils. I'm being very vulgar with this, but what the hell, guys? How am I supposed to take a test with a fucking pencil if you can't even provide one?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain I'll gain a few votes from that, actually. Do you have the poster ready?
Oh yeah, I was working on
And
that.
people are like, oh, well, why don't you just go and, like, buy the pencil yourself? It's like, well, some people just don't have the money to buy fucking pencils when you gotta eat.
Well,
And,
yeah, thanks,
yeah.
Stu, but
It took me
My life
hours
story,
upon
but,
hours to do, and
that fucking poster I drew in
I
Microsoft Paint.
really just put my heart and soul into it, Coke.
Yeah.
I hope you liked it.
We're all gonna
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
die.
there you go, Microsoft Paint and CMP. It
What's
happened.
oh, that was just Peter.
Peter. Who's
And this is
Peter?
the
My
fateful
psychopath
encounter,
brother
the
shoots
first
birds
time
for a
Dew
living.
meets Peter.
Seagulls. Everywhere I look, there's
And I tried to make
seagulls.
Peter, like, seem a little deranged in this
Coke,
scene,
hey,
because
I
I
didn't
wanted
mean
Dew to
to.
interpret
Here.
him like that. Like,
Sorry.
oh,
Oh,
he's
that's all right,
insane!
This is
I
Stu.
like this
Stu,
guy!
this is
Like,
Peter.
that's how I wanted Dew to
You seem
interpret
pretty
him.
Familiar.
Well, I work at McDonald's.
Wait, you work at McDonald's?
Yeah, where do you think your chicken nuggets come from?
Oh, from
Dude,
fucking seagulls.
That's fucking gross.
I was always told
That's
the chicken
gross.
nuggets were raccoon testicles.
Well, I have to get back to work now, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, so Peter has a gun and shoots birds for a living. And then, eventually, in the newer episodes like Halo Reach and stuff, I've had more of a storyline central to where Peter is an alcoholic and like a conspiracy kind of crazy asshole kind of guy. Like, oh, like, don't fucking like bathe in the water because you know, like there's
It
this little
looks-
thing like get your
it looks
tinfoil hat out
awesome.
kind of crap.
What
But the
happened?
thing is, he's real subtle about it. Like he's not like out front like, yeah, this is me. It's like, no, like I'm just storing food away in my basement because I'm waiting for not the nukes. Like, you know.
And that's right, I still
So,
call him Daddy, because I'm hot.
You know, it just leads to some fruitful situations, and I felt like it added a bit more to him rather than him just being and I'm the older brother. So if you guys have realized, I've been adding him in a lot more, and mainly his thing is just screaming, but that's because he's an alcoholic. Like he just screams at things that are insignificant to others. So
Vote for him.
Oh my god, it's people like this that just piss me the hell off. This is
yeah,
gonna
so
be a
Richard's
dirty
basically
election.
We
bribing
need to start
all the
handing out
children.
pins and
Like,
posters
yes,
today.
you gotta vote for me
We're
because
gonna
I'm
make
going to
it
totally
Friday,
redo
but
everything
we
like I
need to
just
start
did.
now, Coke.
And so
Alright,
he fucking
let's do
redoes
this.
their Great Hall, and he still
Vote for
loses.
Coke. It's the
Like,
new
or
student
well,
body
I'm not gonna give
president
that
in the
away if you
next
guys haven't
election,
seen it. If
everybody.
you haven't seen this, go watch it. It's been out there for years, man. Go check it out. It's
Vote for Coke.
it's pretty good for its age.
Vote for Coke. Yep.
You know, I like to take each season that I did and look at them all separately. I'm like and this is my beginning from that, and this is my end from that, and this is my beginning of that, and this is my end of that. Like, it's more of like a, you know, it was me developing over a period of time. It was me getting a general feel for, like, you know, like what are the personalities of these characters? What do they translate to generally in people's, like, if somebody was to say, oh, you know, alcohol is good. Well, what the fuck would Dew think of alcohol? And it's not like a thing where it's like, oh, now I gotta write out, like, I gotta write out what Dew thinks of alcohol. No. It's like, there it is. It's a natural, like a point to where, alcohol, my favorite thing. You know, it's just, it's,
Strippers in the lunchroom.
you become attuned to a character for so long, where you finally get to a point where that character essentially could, like, you could just flick a switch in your brain and change over to it, and it's like it's taken a long time to kind of get a feel for everything, and like, yes, this is what this character would do in this situation, and it sure as hell makes it a lot easier when you're trying to put out as many as I'm trying to put out nowadays. If you guys haven't realized, this has been like my best year ever already. I've put out more episodes this year than I ever have before, so that's pretty awesome. I mean, you know, I feel like a great accomplishment from that, and I'm really glad that a lot of you are still enjoying the new ones. I know I've taken some crazy-ass subjects that I would have never done before, but, you know, like Halo Machinima, it's reached a point to where, like, I gotta throw something in there to not just make it to where, oh, it's in Halo. Like, no, this is unlike anything else in Halo. Like, that's the whole point of the Machinima game now. Like, I want to see something I've never seen in Halo Machinima ever. before. Like, and for a machinima person like myself, it's really something to look forward to. Like when you're sitting planning your idea, like when you're first developing it, and you're like, yes, like I'm thinking about having like this crane, and then you start to get into your formatting of like, oh well, maybe I could like take the crane and like divide the pieces out and like put it together in layers in this program, and then you like you run through a few tests initially for just the base effect, and then you think that effect is good enough, and then your whole idea just kind of forms around that one thing that you begin to think of, and it if you're a person like myself who just kind of develops a personality with an idea, like, okay, well, I want to have like 3 characters. I want to have this one character who's kind of like this sort of type, like he's more standoffish, and he kind of like it's just kind of my brain just develops the situation in a given set of time, like this episode, for example. When I came up with this episode, at the time, the election was still relevant, obviously. It was a really different time in America. I mean, I'm not going to get into today or anything like that. I'm not here to talk to you guys about that. But basically, like, there was still some discussion about it and everything. And so I thought, I'm not going to do this pro, like, whoever or anything. I'm just going to do it where they run for, like, a school election. And I did throw in like a few jabs at certain people known in a political field, but like I don't mean that personally or anything stupid like that. So it's just like good humor. I just make these to make people laugh, and a lot of people enjoy them. So I mean, sure, I do try to sometimes put in something to make people think about when they stop watching, but that's just my own merit as like an artist and as like a creative being, and putting ideas forward for people to think about later on, and maybe even like help people out because of those ideas being spread in terms of the good nature that people could take from it. Not I obviously don't promote anything really like stupid or anything like that. I mean, obviously I've made jokes about like bullying, and there's some jokes I regret. I'm gonna be for real. It's been a rough ride. But, any of the jokes that I could point out, they're not in this time frame right now. There's a few jokes in the season 2 in Halo Reach. There's a joke in there that I absolutely despise. And when I get to that joke, I'm gonna make it very well known why I hate this joke, because it's something that you just don't fucking play with. And, one of the characters, God, here I am talking about other fucking videos, and we're not even talking about this one. But there's not much to talk about with this video, because the general consensus was school election. And at that point, I'd already gotten used to, well, throw them into this situation. But my problem at this point really was the time constraint in terms of, well, I was still in school at the time. I was still, like, trying to help out around the house and everything, because I live with my family still. I'm a big family man around here. I do a lot of stuff with chores and everything, trying to help everybody out. But, the whole thing about it was, it's just, like, yeah, at the time it wasn't really as flowing as it could have been, like, right now. Like, right now, I'm just, going. Like, jeez, I've never gone like this before. And, I thank everybody that's, helped me out and, like, been commenting and sharing. Like, you guys cannot help me out enough by, like, you guys want to help me out, just share everything. That helps me out a great deal.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
that's all I ask, man.
I really don't have
I just,
anything to say,
like making these,
but
so.
I
And
would
this
like
right
to
here
have
is actually a spoof from
pencils.
Napoleon Dynamite.
and some new computers would be nice.
What about
I
strippers,
would like to see
man?
more.
What about more strippers, huh? You gonna give us more strippers?
Maybe some strippers. That would be nice too.
Yeah, and that line was improvised. Maybe strippers.
Anyway, if you vote for me, all your wildest dreams will come true.
Somebody was like, you should have had
Really
Do
all I
Do
have
the
to say.
Dance from Napoleon Dynamite, and I was like, no, because I couldn't use that song. I was already risking a lot of stuff. I didn't want to use the song, so. I wasn't, under a contract or anything at the time. I was just making these because I enjoyed the genre of machinima, so.
Oh my god, I don't think that can fit in there. my god.
That's one of my favorite jokes.
My private DVD collection.
And you know, some people like to think like, is that Mr. Sinister? And I'm like, maybe. Who knows? And here's Do as Richard. I thought about bringing this back. This right here, Do as Richard. Because I wrote an idea recently. Where, you know, I kind of jot down the idea and then I sit down and give it a good thinking. Or like, you know, how do I want the conversation to arc? Or what do I want to show? And it's kind of more of like a visualized thing. Like, if I had a team of people together and tried to explain it to them, I would just do a bunch of bulletin points on a board and then form those bulletin points like into a line of events. Like, this one happens here, this one happens here, and then, you know, it'd be a lot more like conclusive to a lot of people, and then they could just let me go off, do the voices, get some improvisation in there, and you know, it's all retro scripting, guys. That's really one of my main things. It's just so free. I mean, yeah, obviously, you know, for like a bigger project like the movie, I had to sit down and, you know, write out stuff because, you know, with something like that, it was really stressful at one point to just sit there and try and retro script everything, which I did at first because I'm an asshole. But no, you know, I had to write down, and I sat and listened to my initial take of it when I did do just the retro scripting, and I found myself repeating a lot of lines, and it just deterred from it. So I sat down and went through and, you know, added new lines. So
Attention students, the tallies
this is one of my favorite parts.
this year's presidential election. Well, school thing that nobody really cares about. In second place, we have a popular bid.
Yeah, and that's that chick from earlier.
Popular
Yeah,
bid.
she actually got like
Always
second.
next year, don't you know?
Yeah, don't you know?
And then in first place, we actually have a tie.
What?
It's Dick and Cock.
No way.
Congratulations, Dick and Cock. However, since
Gosh, that's.
you won,
I know, like, some people hate the language I use, and man, like, I understand, but like, I mean, you would be surprised what you hear in a middle school hallway. You ask some of the teachers, they'll just laugh and be like, "You'd be surprised." Like, it's it's just a cultural thing now. It's more of like you know, some people might attribute it to ignorance, but I find it as like a form of poetry. Like, you know, it's such a simple thing to say, like, "Fuck you." That's just like the simplest way to say, like, you are just undesirable. Like, you know, but you can articulate it better though. You can be like, "Oh, well, you're a piece of gonorrhea fucking shit." Like, bam. And that is CNP number 4, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this commentary. If you guys enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos, and check back tomorrow because I'm going to be doing a commentary on every single CNP this month, May, for the 6th-year anniversary. So, share this and check out my other videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.